guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ray, otherwise known as Disney Circus Girl. Now, I've had DLP Chat going for a few weeks now. However, I've decided that at least until the start of the 30th anniversary celebrations at Disneyland Paris, all my DLP chats from this moment forward will be opening day attraction spotlights. So that means every episode of DLP Chat that I do, and there will be at least 2 a week from here to fit all of these in before April the 12th. So every DLP Chat from here until April the 12th will be highlighting a different attraction, a different opening day attraction from Disneyland Paris. Now some episodes will highlight 2, maybe 3 attractions in one episode, depending on what they are. So like when we get to say like Dumbo, Orbitron, they'll be in the same episode because they're basically the same ride but just with different theming. Same with like the carousel and the teacups will probably be in the same video, and Snow White and Pinocchio will be in the same video. This is just so that I can fit all of the opening day attractions into these episodes of DLP Chat before the 12th of April. I'm also going to cover Captain EO, which was an opening day attraction at Disneyland Paris. It's now Mickey's PhilharMagic. So I think Captain EO deserves to be covered, and as do possibly a couple of others that were there on opening day and are no longer with us. So today's episode we are going to be looking at this beauty. It's the Disneyland Railroad, formerly known as the Euro Disneyland Railroad. So a Magic Kingdom style park, a Disneyland park, would not be a Disneyland park without the railroad. We all love the railroads. It's the first thing you see when you get to any of the parks. And sorry about the lights. We had that mega storm on Friday, Storm Eunice. We have I think it's Storm Franklin going through at the moment, so the electricity is not good. I'm just going to carry on powering through it. So yeah, and I'm not going to edit that out. What I was saying before the lights flickered, or as the lights flickered, what I was about to say is that nothing is really more magical than when you walk into the parks and the first thing you see is that train going past with all the steam billowing out of it, and it's a stunning sight. It's a stunning sight to see, especially at Disneyland Paris because of the presentation. So Disneyland Paris Railroad, like I said, was originally called Euro Disneyland Railroad, and that's because Disneyland Paris was originally called Euro Disney. Which is why when you see the station, when you see all the logos, it says EDRR, Euro Disneyland Railroad. They haven't changed it to DLRR, they've kept it as Euro Disneyland Railroad, and the sign over the clock at the top, everything there says Euro Disneyland Railroad. It's the first thing you see when you get into the park. So at Disneyland Paris, to enter the park, you go underneath the Disneyland Hotel. The gates are there. I'm not going to say turnstiles because we don't have turnstiles at Disneyland Paris. We have gates, literal gates. You scan your pass and the gates magically open, which I think is more magical than a turnstile. I think we can all agree. So you've come through the gates, and immediately the first thing, even before you go through the gates, the first thing you can see is this. Or this, depending on what time of year it is, or what celebration or anniversary that we've got going on. So really the first thing you see is that wonderful train station. And to get into Main Street, you have to go underneath the train station. So it's like you cannot miss this station, so it has to look absolutely amazing. And it's your way into the park, so you go underneath the station and emerge onto Main Street USA, into the town square end of Main Street USA, and I have had so many magical moments with this when I've walked underneath, like through that tunnel and emerged, and one of the horses has walked around, or a Main Street vehicle has driven around, or even Guest Star Day has began, which was absolutely just, I loved when Guest Star Day began. Like literally one of my trips, I entered the park and was greeted by Guest Star Day, which was absolutely magical. But we're not talking about Guest Star Day, and we're not talking about Main Street USA. I'm just saying that it's coming through underneath that station. It is a magical experience. Now we're going to move on to the actual ride itself. Euro Disneyland Railroad was an opening day attraction on April the 12th, 1992. It's a 3-foot gauge railway. The 4 locomotives are all 440 locomotives, 3 of which were ready for opening day in 1992. The 4th one was added in 1993. All 4 are based off of the number 1 locomotive CK Holiday at Disneyland in California. Loco number 1 is named WF Cody, aka Buffalo Bill, and is red in colour. The number 2 loco is named the CK Holiday, and it's the one that's going to feature in the video that I'm going to play of the ride at the end of this video. It's the one that featured earlier that I showed you. It's the one that's going to be in all of the footage that I've got of this ride for this video. Loco number 3 is named George Washington, and is blue in colour. Loco number 4 is simply named Eureka and is a black, red and brown and gold in colour. It is truly a stunning locomotive, and this is the one that was actually added in 1993. It has a different manufacturer to the other 3. So the first 3 locomotives were made by the H.P. Phillips Company. They were ready for opening day in 1992. The 4th was built by Seven Lamb and was added in 1993, which is why it looks that little, just the tiny little bit different to the other 3. I think it looks more stunning, and I think it looks more, I can't put my finger on it, but there is something just, I mean, they are all same in specification, but number 4 does look just that little bit different. And I haven't got any pictures of it. I wish I did. I don't. Next time I go, I will try my hardest to get some photos of this one, because I do think this particular locomotive is very pleasing to look at. The attraction has had one notable incident. It happened with the number 1 locomotive, the WF Cody locomotive. The train was approaching Frontierland Station. The number 2 and number 3, each train has like 5 passenger coaches, and as this particular train was approaching Frontierland Station, carriages number 2 and 3 became uncoupled from each other. So when the loco and the first 2 passenger carriages stopped, the remaining 3 just slammed straight into the back of coach number 2. There were 47 people on board at the time, including passengers and crew. Of these 47, 4 of them were crew. Of the passengers, most of them were fine. They were given attention immediately and they were evacuated back to the park. They carried on enjoying their time at Disneyland Paris. It was just a thing. But some of them did have to go to hospital. There was about 4 people, I believe, that had to go to the hospital. There was no serious injuries. It was just minor injuries. But yeah, there were about 4, maybe a couple more, I don't know, people that did have to go to the hospital. But an accident is an accident. Nobody knew this was going to happen, and it hasn't happened since. And it's the only incident that has ever happened on this attraction. Okay, so we're going to move on to the ride experience now. At the moment, this ride has been under an extensive refurb for a very long time. Just like at Disney World, it was closed for a very long time. It's only recently come back, and as such, you can now only stop, and it's a round trip. It's a one-way round trip. You cannot stop and you cannot get off at any of the stops. So Frontierland Station, Fantasyland Station and Discoveryland Station, you cannot get off at the stations. You do travel through them and they have got staff there, they have got cast members there, but you cannot get off at these stations. The ride length is about 20 to 30 minutes. So it starts obviously at Main Street and you leave in the sort of, if you were to be walking towards the park, the train goes off towards the left. If you're looking at the train from Main Street, you'd be going off to the right. So in the direction of Frontierland, basically. The train leaves Main Street and almost immediately you enter like a tunnel, and in this tunnel you see a depiction, a recreation of the Grand Canyon with figurines of wildlife that is native to that area, with storm effects as well, and there's a little spiel about the Grand Canyon. The actual function of this tunnel, it isn't, and this visual of the Grand Canyon, it isn't to give you the sort of experience that you're heading to the Wild West of Frontierland. Its actual purpose is to hide the show building for Phantom Manor, which is huge and expertly concealed. So yeah, when you're going through the Grand Canyon section, just remember that just the other side is Phantom Manor. So yeah, that's how they cover Phantom Manor. You go through a tunnel past the Grand Canyon. You don't even realise you're going past or even through Phantom Manor. Shortly after that is Frontierland Station. The train will stop at Frontierland Station, but you will not be permitted off of the train. The only reason the train stops here is because this is the stop where they fill the water tank on the loco. So it's just a short stop. As soon as the water tank is full, off you go again, and from this point you do not stop until you get back to Main Street. So from Frontierland, Thunder Mesa, we carry on around the track. There are a few visuals that you will not get, and you'll see them in the video coming up. There are a few visuals that you do not get from any other part of the park because it's all hidden. They've got to have something that is unique to this ride, and these are them. So after Frontierland, obviously we head through to Adventureland. We see the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Peril. We see the actual temple. The spiel doesn't quite line up with the visual, but we see it. We also have what I think is a genuine gem of, I love it, it's just a gem. You go through Pirates of the Caribbean. If you're on Pirates of the Caribbean, you would have no clue, you would have no idea that the train is going through. It's right at the end of Pirates of the Caribbean when Jack Sparrow is sat on his pile of gold. So that shot just there. And if you look up to your left as you're travelling like on the boat past Jack Sparrow, I have done this. I knew exactly where the train would be and I looked up to see if it was going past, and it was. I couldn't actually see the train, but I could see motion like that. So I knew that the train was going past. So I think that is quite a cool, I don't know if to call it Easter egg or just a little treat, a gem. I love it. It reminds me of the People Mover going through Buzz Lightyear and Space Mountain, and I love it. So after Adventureland is Fantasyland. Once again, you will not be stopping at Fantasyland Station. You will see a cast member there and they'll always be waving at you, very happily waving at you, but you will not be stopping there. One thing I can say about Fantasyland, like going through around the back of Fantasyland, is there is an amazing photo opportunity here. Some really stunning visuals here. Also with this stretch of the railroad, you will go right alongside, and I mean right alongside, like of It's a Small World. So It's a Small World, you've got the loop where people get on, which is outside at Paris, and the railroad is actually up on the building of It's a Small World. So at one point It's a Small World does go underneath the train track. So like the show building for It's a Small World is like right there, and you're going along there. And if you're off It's a Small World, if you're not on It's a Small World but you're looking at it, you can get a great clip of that train going past. You can get a great photo of that train going past. One thing I do have to say about the railroad in this particular location is that this particular location, It's a Small World, so there's some gates. If you've seen my parade videos, you'll know that the gates for where the parades start is right next to It's a Small World. So the road that the floats take to get from backstage to on stage, the railroad crosses it. So the railroad will not run when the parade is on, or at least when the parade is coming through there. There is a good 15-20 minutes, maybe more, when the train cannot run. So I'm not entirely sure how it works when, say, Dream and Shine Brighter will be on, or when, say, Pirates vs Princesses. I don't think the train was running when Pirates vs Princesses was ever on. I think that both years it was closed. So just food for thought there. The trains will not run while there is a parade or a castle show on. So yeah, just be aware, the trains will not run while there is a parade or a castle show on. Okay, so moving on, the train will leave Fantasyland. Won't leave Fantasyland because it doesn't stop in Fantasyland, it will just keep going. So the next land is obviously Discoveryland. The track actually goes over on top of the building for Star Tours and Mickey's PhilharMagic. And when you're actually coming out of Hyperspace Mountain and you look up to your right, it does look a little bit like the People Mover, and then you realise, oh, it's just the Disneyland Railroad, but it's still magical and it still reminds me of the People Mover, and I'm still happy with it being there. After that, it's back to Main Street and off of the train, and that's your ride experience. This is honestly like one of the things I would love to do to kickstart your day at Disneyland Paris. When I was there last, the first thing I went on was the horse-drawn streetcars with Jodie and Carly, and then the second thing we did was go on the railroad. I just think I love that it's the first thing you see when you get into the park. Why not make it the first ride you go on, especially if all 4 trains are running, because you're not going to be waiting for very long if all 4 trains are running. And yes, in November all 4 trains were running. Okay, so let's play this video. I'm gonna show you the actual attraction now, so I hope you enjoy.
Mesdames et messieurs, attention au départ de Main Street Station. Pendant le trajet, veuillez rester assis et garder bras et mains à l'intérieur. Et s'il vous plaît, veuillez ne pas fumer. Merci. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now departing Main Street Station. For your safety, please stay seated while the train is moving, keeping your hands and arms inside the train. And no smoking. We're now on our way to the Great American West. In just a few moments, we'll be passing through that wonderful nature zone design. Voici entièrement le fabuleux Far West américain où les torrents serpentent en toute liberté et où la fortune est au bout du rêve.
This is the legendary American river, where the river still runs free, and anyone's dream turns to gold.
Bonjour et bienvenue aux nouveaux passagers. Pendant le trajet, veuillez rester assis et garder bras et mains à l'intérieur. Et s'il vous plaît, veuillez ne pas fumer. Merci.
Hello, folks, and welcome aboard. For your safety, please stay seated while preparing to release, keeping your hands and arms inside the train. And no smoking.
Notre entrée dans Adventureland, le pays de tous les mystères.
See that ancient temple in the distance? That means we enter adventure, the world's most mysterious region.
Disneyland Station. Bonjour et bienvenue aux nouveaux passagers. Pendant le trajet, veuillez rester assis et garder bras et mains à l'intérieur. Et s'il vous plaît, veuillez ne pas fumer. Merci.
So that's my DLP Chat opening day attractions spotlight. I hope you've enjoyed the Disneyland Railroad at Disneyland Paris, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.